Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and some more City Skylines. Today we are back in Sierra Belleza. This is my tropical paradise project that I have been working on, which is inspired upon places such as Hawaii, I don't know, the Caribbean islands, maybe a little bit of Monaco, maybe some Rio in here. Lots of different things have gone into the inspiration around this. Mostly though, it's Hawaii. That's really what I'm kind of mostly basing this on. So why are we here today? Well, as many of you know, the new Airports DLC has finally dropped. And though I am a little bit late to the party, sure the hype for the DLC has finally died down at this point, and I probably won't get that many views on this as I would have if I'd gotten this video out earlier, which, makes me, I'm amazed at some of the other content creators and stuff for these games who can get their stuff out so quick. Like, I'm sure they have to balance a work and hobby kind of relationship there, and it just amazes me on how they are able to do it, because I'm very, very slow at this, and it takes me a little bit to get a project to a point where I'm happy to show it off, and also to be able to get the video edited and everything else with the time, my free time that I actually have. So again, props to you guys out there who are able to do that, who can make that balance work for you. I'm working on it. I'm trying, but man, it is not easy. So, what are we going to be doing today? Well, we're going to be doing an airport, obviously. Now, this airport DLC could not have come at a better time, because I had planned on doing an airport in this exact location here in Sierra Belleza for, well, basically ever since the beginning of this. In fact, I actually kind of built an airport way back before I ever started the series on this, just to kind of see how it would look like, and because to get an idea of like where I was going to be doing with the island and everything, where things were going to go. The airport was actually a huge major part of using this map and everything, and why I decided this is the map that I liked the best, because I knew I wanted an airport here and I had to find a good location for it, and I had found the perfect location, so I kind of went in and kind of messed around with that, and just to see how it would look. Now, at the time, we didn't really have this stuff that we have now in order to make it so easy to actually build a fantastic airport. No, I had to use a bunch of mods, and in the end, it never even worked. Like, I couldn't even get the airport taxiways and the runways and stuff to actually work. There were no planes coming in. Not a single plane would... Plan? Yeah. Well, it didn't go according to plan, but no, not a single plane would even land or take off from my runways at that point. Now, I don't know if it was really something I had done with the mod, or if it was just I didn't have any city or anything, or really any citizens, and therefore it just wasn't a big enough town or anything to actually make it work where it required an airport. Either way, it still looked good. So when I heard that they were actually going to be making airport DLC, I was super hyped for this. Like, I have been waiting on this DLC since the day they announced it in order to get this project going. And as soon as it dropped, the first thing we did was we did a live stream. We came into Sierra Belleza here, and we kind of tested out some stuff. We saw how it worked. If you guys watched that live stream, you kind of saw a basic plan of how the airport was going to look. However, I have changed some things on that, so this isn't going to be the exact same airport that you saw in the live stream. Nope, this one's going to be better, I feel. It's also going to be a ton more detailed and lots more stuff added to it to make it more realistic. Now, I don't really know how an airport works. I've never even been on a plane. So this is just kind of my idea of how an airport's going to work. I'm going to try to go back. There was I can't remember who did it. It was either $2.20 or Prez or somebody who made an airport way back in the day that was like super detailed. Like, the runways were all like numbered and all that, and I need to go back and find that video and watch it, because I want to try to get some more inspiration on how to detail it even more. I'm talking like super detailed, just like they did, and still using the airports DLC to do that with some more mods and assets and things of that nature. Another thing that kind of kept me a little far behind on getting this DLC or this video out to you guys is as if you play City Skylines, you know the problems of using mods and other things like that. Anytime a new DLC drops, then sometimes mods break. And sometimes it takes a while for those mods to update. One of those being, as of the time I'm recording this, it still doesn't work. But there's a great fix for it, a temporary mod that has came out. The loading screen mod. Now I probably use somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 assets, and I'm always adding more and more every single week. Even though I don't play the game as often, I'm always on the City Skylines Steam Workshop looking at new stuff, downloading new stuff. So my asset collection just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And I think somewhere around now, I'm somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 assets, and I don't know, probably about 100 and some mods that I'm using. Obviously, if you're going to be doing this, you need an excellent computer. I think mine's pretty good. One of the biggest things that City Skylines needs is memory. So I am running about 64 gigs of memory, and it takes a good 30 minutes to load into a map with this game. For me, anyway. With using that many assets, that's how long it takes for me. And I am on SSDs. I have like a CPU that's clocked to like 5.0. So yeah, it takes a while. But the biggest thing is the memory, and the loading screen mod is one of the things that really helps me to get into this. Without the loading screen mod, I wouldn't be able to load any games. Like with that many assets and stuff, it just doesn't work. It crashes. So I tried to do this without that, and it wouldn't load into the game at all. And luckily, Clin actually made a fix for the loading screen mod, because it seems as though the original creator of the loading screen mod isn't around anymore, which I think his name is Thale5, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I may have that wrong. But yeah, he doesn't seem to be around any longer, so he's no longer updating that mod. But luckily, Clin came in, snapped that up, created a temporary fix for us. It works. The only thing about it is I pretty much only have a black screen when it's loading the game in. It doesn't give me any details or anything. It's just a black screen with a little circle going around. I also have another mod that I use that adds different pictures and stuff to the loading screen. So as I'm sitting and waiting for that 30 minutes for the game to actually load into this, I get like a picture or something that's just loaded from some Tumblr or something somewhere. I don't know exactly where it gets the images, but it's pretty neat, and I get to see like cool stuff other people have done, which is a really, really nice mod. I may have to like add that to my mod list or something so you guys know. But it doesn't work right now since the loading screen mod doesn't work, and I'm using the temporary fix by Clin. That mod actually doesn't do anything at this point. So yeah, I don't know even why I'm talking about it. I guess I'm just kind of rambling, because as you guys know, when I do these voiceovers with the time lapses, I just pretty much wing it when I'm talking here. So a lot of things that I say don't really match up with what I'm doing on screen, and sometimes I get into just kind of a ramble, and I'm kind of not paying attention to anything that's actually going on the screen. But so far, basically what I've done is I have districted the area for the airport, which flattens it out. I actually flattened everything out first before I even done that. Then I did the district. When I flattened it all out, I wanted to make sure that the area was exactly where I needed it to be as far as height-wise. That's why I flattened it using the terrain tools first before I did the district, because I wanted it to kind of come to a certain point close to the highway, and that's the height that I wanted. And then we started building the runways and the concourse, and now I'm adding in like the terminal. I went with the ultra modern here for this part, and I used the modern on the back end of the airport. So my thinking here is that this airport's been around for a while, right? And maybe they've remodeled the front of the airport, but the original part of the airport is what you see back there with the concourse where the plane stands are. and the like triangular part back there, as well as the control tower. So all of that part of the concourse is like the older part of the airport, while all of the front end there, where the terminal is, the bus stops, the new lounges they built, and the parking garage over there. I don't know, maybe the parking garage was there originally and they just kind of built this around it. But they've completely remodeled the front of the airport to give it a different feel, a more modern feel. And that's why I went with ultra modern on the front and modern on the back end where the planes are. So now the next part I'm doing here is I'm not a huge fan of the roads that they give us with the bus stop, as well as the front of the terminal and stuff. But I figured out that you can use Ron, the network replacer mod, to replace those roads, which is pretty amazing. It's a little tricky to do. It's like basically just go in and do that. But then when you want to add the roads back later on, it's a little hard to do and edit those. So, but it does work, and that's the main important thing. And then what I'm doing right now, as you can see here, is I'm trying to figure out where our main road is going to be kind of coming into the airport here. Now, my thinking was that since this airport is all by itself over there, it is going to need a lot of lanes. I do change this later on, which you guys will probably see in the next video when we work on the intersection from the highway, the on and off ramps and stuff on there, so we can kind of get a junction kind of going in there into the airport. So when I do that, which will be the next video, you guys will see that I kind of change a lot of this up. I posted some pictures of what I was working on Twitter and Reddit, and I got the most responses on Reddit, of course. And a lot of people were saying I just had too many lanes. And my thinking was that I would need that many lanes because of, you know, the way an airport works. Obviously, it would be getting a lot of traffic. It's one of the main ways on and off the island. So even though I do have, like, it has connections via boat, via plane, there's like some road intersections that go off onto the corners and stuff. So, you know, there's road traffic coming in and things like that. But my thinking is that the two main ways onto this island is obviously going to be cruise ship or ship in some way, and also the airport. The airport being probably the busiest of the two. And I thought that I would need a lot more lanes than what I did, but apparently, according to Reddit, I don't need that many. So I ended up changing that later on. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video. Right now, though, I have moved this river. So this map had a really cool river coming off the side of the mountain, kind of coming out through there. And it's kind of went into the ocean right there. But it was a little bit in my way. So what I did was ended up just kind of moving that around a little bit. And I took the rock formations I can't remember who made the map, but I did talk about that in the original first episode, which at this point I have set to private because I got a copyright claim on the music I use in that, which I'm disputing because I actually used a non-copyright song when I did that video, as I typically will try to do. It is getting harder and harder to find music to use for videos as a content creator these days. I literally woke up to 10 copyright claims from my live stream I did yesterday of Satisfactory for using Pretzel, which is an app that's literally for streamers, which makes no sense whatsoever. So that seems to me that's like false advertising. Like, yeah, you can use our music for your videos. It's absolutely cool. That's what we're here for. Oh, but yeah, we're going to give you copyright claims anyway, because, you know, we like to make money. Anyway, I'm not even going to go off on that tangent. Let's go back to what we're doing here in the game. So I have the terminal, we have a bus stop, and we have a parking garage, which looks amazing right there. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to build a one-way access into this. My thinking was that we needed one-way access to kind of direct traffic a little better. That way we don't get a whole lot of blockage as far as traffic and stuff goes. And then we would have kind of things that come off like that. I wanted to go the opposite direction of the way I'm going with this road, But at the terminal, when you use one of these new, this is a new road that you get in the DLC, by the way. It's like a bus stop, taxi, airport terminal road, which is really cool. However, to use it the other way, it puts the bus stop and the taxi stop on the wrong side of where the terminal is. So that kind of sucks. And I ended up having to make the road kind of go a different direction than what I really needed to. So when you come into the airport, you have to make a right and then go all the way down and turn this corner down there, which I made a really cool kind of curve going up into there. When I first made that road, I thought, okay, we need a turnaround and it needs to be kind of wide. And I had no idea what I was actually going to put down there. But you guys will actually see that I figured that out quite well here a little bit later on in the video. And so, yeah, again, I just wish I could have put the road the opposite direction, but I didn't have a choice. It had to go this direction. This is the only way I could figure out how to make this work and still look good. We're also going to put plenty of parking right there in the middle as well, up there by the terminal. And now I'm just trying to get these roads to just kind of work the way I want. We'll get some kind of exits or turns into like side roads that are going to go into the terminal. We're going to go into the parking garage and stuff. And this is how I fix the problem of this space over here where the road kind of goes around this curve. As you can see, I decided this would be a perfect place for a hotel. And I decided to go with, I looked at a couple of other ones because I wasn't sure about using this particular hotel. This is one of the ones that comes with the new DLC. I think it's the Deluxe Hotel, Hotel Z, or Hotels. I don't know exactly how to, or as they say in some countries, Hotel Z. I never liked saying Z for Z. It always bothered me for some reason. I don't know why. It's perfectly fine if you use it. For some reason, it bothers me, though. I don't know, just a pet peeve. And then now we're going to work on the actual parking lots here. But I did actually use that hotel. I looked at some others, a lot of custom assets and stuff that I had, and nothing else really kind of fit there for me that I liked. And I thought here at the airport, you know, some people, they come in and they may want to stay there at that hotel, you know. And now that I'm actually saying this out loud during this video, I'm kind of thinking, wait a minute, that doesn't actually make a whole lot of sense. Because if you're coming to, let's say you're flying in Hawaii, are you going to stay at a hotel near the beach or something like that, or downtown, or are you going to stay at the airport? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not like it's a layover somewhere. Well, I guess it could be, depending on where our island is. We're just going to say the hotel is here for layovers. So if you're flying in and maybe the plane has to stop here for some reason and you end up having to stay overnight for, I don't know, for weather or something like that, then that's why there's a hotel there. So I guess we don't really need a huge one, but whatever. That hotel really works. It looks really nice where I put it, and we're going to say that's the storyline. So this island is located somewhere that's typically, not typically, but sometimes used as a layover stop. That makes sense, and that works for me. So anyway, what we're going to do now is I'm going to use the big parking lot roads here to make a parking lot. Now this was a little tricky, and this took me a little bit to get just right. The measurements and stuff were the road's not exactly square, and I have all these like turns and angles and stuff here for our parking lot. It was hard to get the roads to match up because when you're using this, you have to go 3 units over, and then the parking lot pieces that you put in there should snap perfectly in there. But what I ended up with was the roads didn't exactly connect straight. So I had to go in here and use the move it tool to move these around and put the places where I want. And I was a little bit worried on whether or not these would work the way that I put them, where I had to use the move it tool. I wasn't sure if parking would actually use them. Turns out it did though. So we're safe on that. Everything's good. I also ended up with these really weird kind of sections down there that you guys can see down here at the bottom. I don't quite understand what happened there. I ended up fixing it by just kind of moving the road right there around a little bit later on. and it all worked. But as you can see, I had to use the move it tool to kind of move the lanes closer to each other so I can get, it makes like this weird gap, kind of a line right through the middle there, and I don't understand why it does that, but it does. So I guess it's just part of that particular mod and how that mod is made. But I was able to get a ton of parking in here, which, you know, as an airport, I feel like an airport needs a ton of parking. And that's why I use so many lanes and everything else in this. I thought my lane mathematics was right, but thank you, Reddit, for correcting me. I mean, if there's one thing Reddit is good for, it's correcting you, you know? How dare you be, you know, have your own opinion on Reddit? No, I'm just joking. Actually, when I got done with it, most of the people were right. I probably did have way too many lanes. It just made sense to me at the time, though. So, but once I got done fixing it, I guess it makes a little more sense now. I am getting ahead of myself, though, because, I mean, obviously I'm talking about other stuff because, I mean, what more can I say about a parking lot, right? There's not a whole lot we can explain. So what am I going to do? Sit here and be like, okay, so now we're just going to put parking section C12 over here, and then we're going to move on to C13. So I ended up with this gap right here, though, and I will talk about this a little bit. So I use these curve pieces to kind of make this interesting little triangular section here of space that we're going to use for some trees and some other stuff and kind of make it look a little nice. And I definitely have to say one thing about this build, and this is the same as Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo. You can sit here and build something, and it's not until you actually put the trees and the foliage down that it really starts to come together and make sense. Because there's a lot of little flaws and stuff in the build, and it's a good way to hide some of the little flaws and stuff is to use foliage and trees and things, and that's a good way to hide a lot of that stuff. And like I said, the same is true in Planet Coaster. If you guys are Planet Coaster players, same thing. It doesn't really come together and start looking how you intend it to look, or looking really, really nice in general, until you start adding trees and other stuff. But as you can see, everything is starting to come together here for this parking lot. So then I'm going to do the exact same thing here on the other side. I believe I cut most of this part out, though, because I was like, yeah, you guys don't need to see me do this again. And I had so much footage. Like, I've been recording this and building this for days. We're talking hours and hours of footage that I had to put into this almost 30-minute long video, because I didn't want to do a really, really long video. I don't even want it to be 30 minutes long, and it goes over 30 minutes just a little bit too, so sorry about that. But there's a lot to go over, a lot to show. I cut out what I could, and I think what I do show here just makes more sense as to some of the things that I didn't show. What we're doing now, let's head over to the hotel, and I really wanted to put some parking over here too. I didn't feel like we needed a lot of parking at this hotel because, like I said, this hotel is just kind of there in case anybody needs to stay at this hotel. Obviously, you know, probably you're going to rent a car or you're going to take taxis and stuff, and you're probably going to go into the major part of the island, more to the tourist spots and stuff, down to the beach. You know, you're not going to want to stay at the airport if you're visiting Hawaii. And same is true for Sierra Belleza. You don't want to stay at the airport. So we didn't need a huge, like, parking lot here. I don't know, maybe for business people or something. Maybe this place has like meetings and stuff, and maybe people fly in just for that meeting and they don't want to, you know, go downtown or anything. That's just not in their plans. So many different reasons here, but I didn't feel like we needed a huge parking lot here. I felt like we just needed much of a smaller one, because most people are going to walk from the airport over to here. Now, I skipped a lot of this out here where I basically went in. I messed around a lot trying to get the pathway that I wanted around this hotel to work. This is what I ended up coming up with, was just using the regular path, kind of a concrete path. And then I used the concrete filler tool to just basically concrete the whole thing, pave it all. And then I use some grass decals here to kind of go, ploppable grass basically, to go around the edge of the hotel. And I think it came out great. I'm very, very happy with how that came out. Definitely am. Especially once we add some trees and stuff in there, which I imagine we'll probably be doing in just a moment here. Yeah, actually right now at this second. So I looked around and tried to find the perfect trees and bushes and stuff that we could kind of go around this for. And I found these little clusters here of bushes and stuff that gave it a kind of a tropical feel. I'm pretty happy with this choice. And we'll use the line tool to just kind of go around it. And again, I'm just going to probably let me shut up at this point because I can't really tell you a lot about these. I don't even know what kind of flowers or bushes or anything are. I saw what looked like some ferns, some tropical palm ferns or something in there, and I thought that kind of fit the build. Anyway, let's skip ahead of that because, you know, obviously I placed some trees down. We're going to head over here now. So one thing an airport should always have, I feel like. I'm pretty sure they do. I don't think it's just an opinion. I think this is actually a true fact. If you're coming into an airport, you may want to rent a car. So I thought, you know what? Let's use this fantastic, I believe it was King Leno that made this, if I'm not mistaken. But he made this awesome, or I think he made this. I'm not going to say he did it if he's not the actually one that did it. But this awesome enterprise asset here, enterprise car rentals. There's actually not a lot of car rental assets that I could find on the workshop because I looked for others because I kind of felt like this one was maybe just a little too small for my use. I needed something a little bigger, and I couldn't really find anything on the store. There was another enterprise one that looked okay, but I didn't like how it was kind of set up because it had these cars in front of it with these giant like billboards behind the cars, like they were at a car show or something, and they had the cars up on platforms with billboards behind it. And I thought, that just don't look right to me. But this one was perfect. So I just wanted to make the building maybe a little bigger and connect it into the airport. So like right in the center of the terminal there, of the concourse, as it connects up to the plane stands and everything. If you're thinking about being inside of it, think of a T-junction, and right at that T-junction, there would be maybe a place in there where you could go in and rent, and then it connects to the outside as well. So obviously we're going to need an outside connection as to the enterprise car rental, because people who are going to bring cars back, you know, you're going to have to do business, so you're going to have to come in, and you're not going to probably come in through the airport terminal itself. So I thought this was a better idea right here, and we'll have an outside and an inside business center for enterprise. We're going to use some ploppable pavement here to kind of make our car lot. And then I placed down a bunch of little different cars and stuff here, which made it look a little more lively, I feel. Definitely. And then we're going to use some hedges to kind of just fill in around here. And I did have a little bit of trouble trying to find a good fence for this. I skipped a lot of that where I was just looking at different fences here. And right there was the cut. I'm sure you guys may have noticed it, but I cut out a lot of it. And I finally just decided to go with this fence. It was the only one that made sense and the only one I could find that I liked. But one thing I felt that our car rental also needed was sometimes cars, well, they don't act the way they're supposed to. So I thought, you know what? Maybe we're going to need a car rental garage for that. A place, you know, enterprise mechanics and stuff. Maybe they need washed, you know. It's obviously they need to wash the car, do other things. So we needed a garage. I had a hard time trying to find a decent garage. Everything kind of looked dingy and run down, and I didn't really find much I liked. But I finally settled upon this one. And then I just kind of moved it just a very little back into the actual big building there and kind of made it look like it was built into it. Then eventually I make the office building asset that I used and the garage. I made those procedural objects so that they're not actual buildings or anything, and that way they're not going to get like people coming into them or anything like that. They're just there to look good. And that uses the main enterprise building as the main part of the workspace, employer, where people come into work and where people interact with in the game. Coming back over here to this parking lot, I again wanted to come over here and make a little bit of a like triangular kind of fertile area here. A little bit of grass. Never hurt a parking lot, you know. Obviously, if we're going to pave everything, we won't pave everything. We'll put some grass there. Now comes probably what I thought really made everything kind of snap here. And that was adding the palm trees and stuff. Because, I mean, we're a tropical island. We need palm trees. That's just the thing. I don't even remember which specific palms I used here, but these were the ones. I looked at a lot of different ones, and these were the ones that I thought kind of worked the best. So I'm going to use the line tool here to kind of just go up and make this as easy as possible to kind of put these trees here. I say easy as possible, but sometimes I had a little bit of trouble trying to get them to line up the way I wanted to. But we're just going to go all the way around all of the main traffic areas and the sections of road here. And we're just going to line the roads with palm trees. And definitely gives it a great feel and more of a lived-in space and more of a architectural design instead of just a big empty area. And it kind of encloses everything. It, I guess is the way I'm trying to want to describe this. It encloses it and makes it more not as spacious, not as dead. You know, just to add a little bit of life to the build. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Add a little bit of life to it. And I thought this worked out really well by doing these palm trees around here. But I'm not done. We're not just going to put palm trees now. I also decided I wanted to put some junipers in there too. Why a juniper? I don't know. It was just a tree that I first saw and I was like, yeah, I like this tree. I'm going to use it. And it worked. I think it looks fine. I don't know if a juniper would grow on a tropical island or not. I honestly don't. But I think they looked really good. It was a nice looking tree and it's perfect for landscaping. It works for me. So, you know, while I'm sitting here just placing trees right now for a moment, I think this is a great opportunity to let you guys know that if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you are enjoying this video and you're enjoying this build, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps, as well as the thumbs up button. Trust me, commenting, thumbs up, subscribers, all of that very, very much helps the channel. It helps us grow. It helps us reach a wider audience thanks to YouTube's algorithms, which really are against us. So that's where you guys come in, and every little bit helps. So definitely hit that thumbs up button. And if you have anything at all to say, definitely let me know. Let me know your comments about the airport. Let me know if you feel I did something wrong. Something doesn't look right to you, if you an alteration that maybe I should make, anything like that at all, just let me know in the comments below, because I want to hear from you guys. Every little comment helps, and I definitely want to hear feedback about these builds and stuff like this. Also, go check out the rest of the series on Sierra Belleza. I find this to probably be some of my best City Skylines work I've ever done. So let's head back to what we're doing here in the video now that I've kind of done my self-promotion there. What we're doing right now is this awesome wall. Now, this map already had something very similar to this actually it's very close to where we're building right now at the airport. Across from the little freeway that you can see there, it has a wall just like this that is up on the mountain, and it looks absolutely incredible. That is another reason that made me pick this particular map for the build, is because, man, I wish I could remember off the top of my head who actually made this map. I'm definitely, if you guys want to check it out for yourself, it is in the description. I have a link to my workshop stuff that I used in this, like a list of everything. Not everything, but a pretty good list of most things that I've used. But this wall just looks absolutely incredible. And I tell you what, it really makes the airport pop and definitely gives it a unique feel that I think is maybe a little different from other things you've seen out there. I mean, everybody right now, because of the new Airports DLC just came out, everyone is making airports. And I feel like this is kind of what sets mine apart, is this whole little section right here with this wall, you know, and it being on an island. I feel like that is the definite thing. But anyway, we have come to the end of the video. Sorry that it was a little bit long. Trust me, it could have been longer. I had to save a bunch of stuff for the next video. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you liked what I've built. And definitely go ahead, drop down in the comments. Let me know your feedback on it. Hope you guys will keep watching. Until next time, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.